Hi, Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creation. Today is the September beginner of the block month. Everybody ready? Let's get started. This block is going to consist of 3 colors. It's going to be a star block. This is my star, this is my background, and this is my middle piece. Now out of those 3 colors, I've made my large middle square 6.5 by 6.5. I have made 4 corner squares 3.5 inches, and then these 2 sets of 8 will become our half square triangles, and those are 4-inch squares each. Now the first thing I did was take all of my squares, put them together, and marked them, because that's what you do when you're going to do half square triangles, unless you have paper half square triangles and you're doing it that way. We're going to sew every one of these, and when we're done, what I've done is I pinned them so that I know that the part that is pinned I'm going to cut off, and I'm keeping the other side. So I'll get you started here. Let's see. And I will not go on the edge. I will go down and begin on my fabric because I do not want it to go and jam inside my sewing machine. And I go back, put my needle down into my fabric, and I'm overlapping it a little bit, and then I come off it, whoops, and I come off this other end. I hit the cut key by mistake. Okay, and that's all there is to it. And then when I'm done sewing all these, I will cut them off 1/4 inch, take out the pin, open them all up, and iron them. And don't forget to set your seam, because that relaxes that. And then go ahead, and in this case it doesn't really make any difference which way I make my fabric lay, either to the right or the left, because they're kind of both considered dark on my fabrics. So go ahead and do all 8 of your squares, and when I get done with mine I'll be back and show you what's next. Now I have all of these done, and remember from a previous video, because of the size of this block, when it was this size here, like that, I went ahead and I marked a 1/2 inch from the seam on that fabric, and I went ahead and sewed again, instead of just cutting off my fabric and discarding it. And then I went right down the 1/4 inch, and I have my block for my project now, and then I have a block for the future. So I ended up with 8 of these cute little blocks. So they can be made into something else. They are a good size, so they're not really teeny weeny, and they are 3.5 inches by the time you're done with them. So they're good to go. Now we're going to be putting our block together. Alright, so I have them laid out now on my sewing machine, and I'm going to pin them, and when I get them pinned I will show you how I'm going to sew them. Alright, now so you saw them laid on the sewing machine. Now we have to square up these squares, because remember at the very beginning I told you that the corner units were 3.5 inch. These need to be 3.5 inch. And if you followed along on all my tutorials up to this point making squares, you know they get distorted. So we're going to do it, and I'm going to show you a really easy way to do this. You need to get yourself 2 little rulers, and the first thing you do is take this ruler. You're going to go 1/4 inch onto this fabric, and you're going to put your other ruler up against it. You're going to butt it, and then you're going to take off that 1/4 inch. Then we're going to put the ruler up against the 1/4 inch you took off, and you're going to go to the 3.5 mark. You're going to put your ruler on the other side, and you're going to take that off. So we know now that it's 3.5 that direction. So now we're going to turn it. Now these have been ironed, mind you. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do the 1/4 inch. We're going to line up our ruler. We're going to take this 1/4 inch off. Then we're going to take our ruler, put it right up against there, 3.5. And put that ruler up against it. And you can slide it up and down like that to make sure it's 3.5 if you want. And it should stay 3.5, and it does. And there it is, 3.5 inches. We're going to do another one just like that. Let me see if I can get this camera tipped down, tilted down a little bit. I don't know if I can or not. Maybe I can get closer here. I'll show you right here. Okay, we're going to do this corner right here. So you're putting your ruler. My 1/4 inch is this very first yellow line. So I'm lining it up on the end of the fabric. Put my ruler up against it. And if you can see from the bottom of my fabric all the way to the top, it's on that yellow line. And then move that ruler. And then move that. Then you take this ruler, you go to 3.5, and I put it right, the line right on the fabric. Butt this up against that fabric, lay it down. You can slide this up and down. You can see the 3.5. Move your ruler if you have to. Whoops, I distorted some there. Like that. And then you take this, and you take that off. Then you turn it. Get it closer to the camera there. And do the same thing. Put it at the 1/4 inch mark. And then you just take your ruler, go to the 3.5, put this up against it, and go up and down. Make sure I got the 3.5. Then I take it off. And that's 3.5 right there. And then I'm making it, whoops, this actually goes this way. Because that's how my blocks need to be. And then when you're done, it's going to measure 3.5 after you put it together by 6.5. All right, I'm going to do these two, and then I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine. To test it is take your 3.5 inch square, which is a corner block, put it over the top of your square that you just did, and it'll fit. And as you note, mine did. So now they're all cut out. I'm going to pin them up together, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like before I sew it. They're pinned together. I start at this end without the bulk. Just take your time. And when you're done, it should look like that. I'm going to go ahead and do the other three, iron them, and lay them down, and we'll go to the next step. Here it is all laid out. And now we just need to do each row. So we're going to do the top row, the middle row, and the bottom row. And then we'll do each row connected to each other, but we're going to go across first. So let me go ahead and pin it, and I'll show you. I'm doing this middle row. I always take my middle fabric square, push it down here to give it a fold line, because that is the middle. and then I'll match the middle with the middle, and the same thing on this side, and pin it like here. I pinned the left side and I've pinned the right side, and then I will sew them like that. Okay, and I'll do the same thing up there and right here. As you can see, they're all pinned. So as soon as I get done sewing them, then I will sew the rows. I will pin the rows and show you those also. You just take your time, and we're connecting the sides first. And this is the top. This is what this one looks like. And I'll do the middle one. And both ends of these are going to have that thick end. So I'm just going to take my time. You can actually, what I'll do is I'll come off the edge, and then I'll come back. I'll flip it and come back. And then what I'll do is I'll flip this upside down, just like when we were doing the triangles themselves, and then just come straight off. As long as you're a 1/4 of an inch, you have nothing to worry about. See? And then we'll just do this end over here. I'll do the same thing. I will come on my fabric away from that corner so that my corner isn't hard to go and doesn't mess up my fabric. Turn this one upside down also. Just continue with it. There you go. And there we have it, right there. That's the two sides. And then we'll bring up the last piece. We'll do it. And it does not have any bumps on this side at all. Or any thickness, let's put it that way, not bumps. Thickness. Get my end pen very good. Let's fix that. This. Same here, there's no real thickness to speak of. We'll start at the corner. And there's that piece. Now when you lay it out, It's not hard to get the middle, won't be confused. It is all pinned on each side. And as you can tell, there's a little ruffle here, looks like. So I'm going to put that face down on my sewing machine because the feed dog will feed that through that little bit of loose fabric. I don't mind that my pins are upside down. I don't have a problem with that. Take a look at that. Okay, that looks good. I'll do the next one. Pin is a little bit too far out there. There we go. I should have put my pin on that side. There we go. Okay, and there we are. We're all finished. I'm going to iron it and lay it out for you to inspect. Be right back. Well, I just seem to be on a roll because I pieced it incorrectly. Can everybody see where the mistake is? I've got to take it back to the sewing machine and fix it. And he's protesting. All right, there it is, finished. All completed. And fixed. And it measures 12.5 inches. I hope you like this tutorial. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next month for the last block of the month, and then we're going to learn how to put it together. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.